Hello crafty friends, it's Julia here, and today I have a really fun video for you showing how you can use your polychromos pencils to create really vibrant images on Kraft cardstock. I started out with the scallop frame dies by Pretty Pink Posh, and I didn't die cut the front of this card, but I basically embossed the die into the card front. So I just have this really nice pattern and it will frame my image. I think this die is just perfect for framing images, and I cut down the card base a little bit to accommodate the size of the die. I'm going to be using Villa here and the balloon trio and the party hat, and there's going to be some masking because that's just how it works. It's fun, it's not too difficult. So I fuzzy cut my masks from masking paper. All the supplies I'm using are listed in the video description below or on my blog, especially the colors will be listed on my blog. And I just placed them here so I have an idea of where everything goes. I'm using my Stamp-A-Magic, and this will help me to line up my rubber stamps. You can't look through rubber stamps, so you need some sort of help to figure out where they will go. And what I've done is I have stamped the party hat onto this acetate piece, and you are reusing the acetate piece. You don't throw it away, you just clean it off and then reuse it. I'm using the green positioner here to slide it into position so it was exactly lined up with the acetate. And then I'm bringing in my acrylic block to which my stamp is mounted. And since I'm sliding it in exactly the same way as I did before when I stamped on the acetate, my stamped image will be in exactly the correct place. I'm going to show you with a few other examples. So I've stamped the bunny on the acetate. I've positioned the acetate exactly where it needs to go. I'm sliding in the green positioner. Now that I've done this, I'm removing the acetate and I'm sliding in my stamp. And since I haven't moved the stamp on the acrylic block since I stamped it on the acetate, it will go in exactly the place that I defined. Now I'm also going to mask off the bunny, and I'm masking this off to make sure that whatever I stamped next will appear to be behind the bunny and not in front of it. And these are the balloons, and you can see I'm trying to make sure that the knot will be exactly in the hand of the bunny, sliding away the acetate, stamping, removing the positioner, making sure I'm getting a good impression, because after all this work I really don't want to do this again. You can see I'm sliding across it, and it worked out perfectly. Now for the coloring. Coloring with colored pencils. This is one of my favorite techniques, and I did quite a few videos on that last year, and I'll be linking in the video description below to some tutorial videos to get you started, and also to a blog post where I reviewed coloring classes and which ones would be good if you're interested, for example, in coloring with colored pencils. And since I gave quite an introduction last year, I'm not going to talk through the entire video, but play music for you later on. But for now, I just want to give you the quick rundown in case you're completely new to this. The trick, as far as I have learned through the coloring classes I took over at Kit and Clowder, is to work in layers. You don't go in and immediately press down really hard with your pencils and try to get perfect coverage and whatever. That's not the way you work with colored pencils. With colored pencils, you first go in and just scribble as lightly as you can some color down so you get an idea of where the shadows are, where the highlights are. And then you go back and you intensify the color. And I usually have about, at least 3 layers of color. Most often I end up with 6 or 7 layers of color, and only for the last 2 layers of color, I'm actually pressing down really hard. And only if you do that will you be able to mix the colors really nicely, to blend them together, and to get nice coverage. If you press down really hard immediately, it won't really work. And I think that is why a lot of people get frustrated with colored pencils. But if you have the patience to work in layers, it's going to be awesome, I promise you. Don't worry about me covering up his face here. I'll be fixing that later on. And you can see here on the fur, I tried to stay as light as possible to make sure that, to have nice highlights against the Kraft cardstock. So I'm trying to have really nice highlights here. And I'm also going to show you how I colored his shirt before I'll start playing some music for you. Now for the shirt, I wanted the highlight to be in the middle. So I'm putting the darkest color on the outside and then slowly start to blend towards my lightest color in the middle. And that's all it takes. Now for the rest of the image, I'm going to play some music for you and catch you on the flip side. And we're done. Hello, we're done. So you can see the bunny here. I enhanced the eyes and the nose a bit with a black gel pen. I also added some white highlights to his head with a white gel pen, just for some additional contrast. Over the entire card, I sprinkled a few sequins by Pretty Pink Posh, the Iridescent Star sequence, the Sweet Pea mix, that's a new mix that was just released, and I added a few dots with my Stardust gel pen. You know that I can't resist dots. And here you can see the entire card, and you can see just how much the colors pop against the Kraft background. And that is really only because I work in layers. So I hope you've enjoyed this card. I hope you got inspired. The music was by bensound.com. Thank you so much for the free music. And if you like this video, please leave me a comment, a thumbs up, or subscribe. I would love to share more videos with you. Bye bye.